Scorpio Ophiuchus, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for May 9th through the 15th of 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link because the signs are different. All right, so Scorpio and Ophiuchus, this week we have a lot of supportive aspects, which is very nice in the astrology for getting things done, for moving forward. And, it's not always something we want to do. I mean, when things are easy, sometimes we just want to kick back. But it's the perhaps most supportive time to get things moving. And this is specifically involving the fact that we just had a new moon in Aries. So it has been this now new beginning in terms of where we're putting our energy, where we can gain that energy through motion and all of that kind of stuff. Now, do mind you that a lot of planets are retrograde in all of this, including your ruler Mars. So there is a lot of this internalized reflection kind of thing going on with this still forward moving time. So I think it's still good to move forward. I think it's great specifically this week because of all the easy aspects. There's a lot of support in the sky. And this is specifically involving your Earth houses because you had that new moon in your 6th house, which is about your everyday work life, your regimens, your routines, your diet, anything you do on that daily level. So that's going to be a big emphasis this week because a lot of the aspects are involving those planets, the Sun, Venus, and Mercury, who are in that 6th house, all joining up to this kite, right? This easy aspect. And this has been the kite from the last new moon, cultivating those new beginnings around the everyday spheres. So the Earth houses are all about the 6th house of everyday activities, also your 10th house of career, which is starting to move forward for you because you've had Jupiter retrograde in that 10th house for about the past 5 months. Now on Monday, Jupiter starts to go direct. All right, so a lot of the things that maybe you were reflecting on in regards to your career, in regards to what's possible with your productive life, starts to move forward in a much more externalized sense. So you can start to see more external opportunities. Now, it does take time for Jupiter to gain that momentum. But I think as we go into the rest of the month, there's definitely that shift. All right, this week you could see perhaps some more opportunities at work, or there's a bit more inspiration about it, or you're just seeing what's more possible, what is possible with your future productive pursuits, whether it's your career, your public life, your legacy, whatever you want to call it. So that's been the fact too that the whole North Node energy has been shifting into this 10th house this year. For the next 2 years, you're going to have a lot of this forward moving momentum and insight to be gained through cultivating your productive life. And there is that shift, and that's directly supporting what is this new beginning with your routine or your diets or your daily work environment. Now, the other side of this Earth grand trine is that Pluto has been in your 2nd house, helping you get rid of old belief systems about finances or about what you're worth, and maybe even about personal reliance, self-reliance. And this has been over many years with Pluto, so it's about seeing where there might be some attachments there in the material realm, where you can perhaps live a bit more of a minimalistic kind of a lifestyle, which doesn't mean that you can't be wealthy or that you can't attract, the values in your life or the finances, the material stuff. It just means it'll only likely happen with non-attachment. In other words, the more non-attached you are to any outcomes there, then it can come in naturally, right? And it can be a big week, in fact, for you making change with the material stuff, with the finances, with the values, with your sense of self-worth. So that's the grand trine. Now the kite is the sextile up to Neptune, which has been about you guys having more faith and trust about the past, or about home, or family, or maybe even your health. It's been very important for you to surrender this area for many years as well. And it's through that surrendering that you've been finding the peace. You've been finding the tranquility in this area. So that's the kite formation. And again, I think it's going to be strongly emphasizing this 6th house for you. And this is, again, the new beginning, still cultivating with those routines or self-improvement, improving your environment, getting your time management, energy management. All of that is very good, which you're learning about. So it's good to be flexible. It's good to try new things with this. And, in that way, in that adaptive way, you can adjust as needed because it's usually insights coming in. I think this can be a very insightful week, in fact, about your self-improvement, about your work, about your daily activities. So on Monday with that shift with Jupiter, I think there is that shift of what's possible with the future endeavors or your career, or maybe some insights with that. And we do have a conjunction with Mercury and the Sun in that 6th house. So it could be very passionate on Monday, where maybe you have a lot of ideas or there's a lot of passion around where you can improve your environment or your work or whatever. Or maybe in work, it could be a lot of that mental and communicative energy. So it's a neutral aspect in and of itself, but it is forming up that kite. So I think it's supportive here. And I think what can really help ground it, make it tangible, is really bringing extra attention to the mind, extra attention to the communication this early part of the week. And again, there could be specifically insights about the career stuff because the Sun does rule your 10th house, with Mercury going over the Sun, in front of the Sun. Could mean some sort of indication and learning about that. Then as we go into Tuesday, Venus does trine up to Jupiter exact. So on Tuesday in particular, this could be the fact that you could be enjoying perhaps the daily activities, enjoying some of this productive stuff. And there could be even some opportunities or some possibilities with relationships, one-to-one connections, business partnerships perhaps. And maybe getting some of that rest and relaxation, some of that more easier going energy around Tuesday. Then as we go into Friday and Saturday, going into the weekend, well, really Thursday and Friday, Mercury is going to be trining up to Pluto. So this is where there could be some deep changes with your beliefs that you're re-examining, I think, right now about work or about the daily stuff. Okay, so it's good to dive deep this week. Again, specifically with letting go of those old belief systems, limiting belief systems, or whatever it is regarding the material side of things, and maybe stepping into your power to make some change there. And that's directly supporting this understanding about the work, about the routine, right? And your mind could be changing quite deeply. There could be, in fact, some depth because Mercury does rule your 8th house, so there could be some intimacy, some deep connections there. Really connecting to what you really value through your work. And maybe some powerful connections too with the organizations you're a part of or with your ideals, right? Because Mercury rules your 11th as well. Then as we go into Friday, that Mercury-Venus conjunction goes exact. And so here you're understanding more about what you value in work. And maybe more about relationships at work, since Venus rules your 7th. Right? And more about maybe the tranquility can be had through work by letting go, by surrendering in the daily level, or bringing more presence into the daily sphere, since Venus rules your 12th. And then Venus trines up to Pluto, deep change, maybe with relationships going into the weekend. Again, releasing old patterns, old belief systems about relationships. Can create some good changes there. This could be relationships at work. Again, supportive, but it does require that deep analysis to release attachments. And as we go into the weekend, the Sun does shift into your 7th, preluding to the next shift going into next month, which is this whole 7th house relationship thing, which is going to be the theme going into June. And I think over the weekend, you'll probably notice more of a shift, a focus of relationships, one-to-one connections, that kind of stuff. And it could be quite healing, in fact, maybe spending some time with those you're close to over the weekend. All right, but with all of that, again, Mars, your ruler in the 1st house, is retrograde, so you guys are still re-examining where you're putting your energy, what responsibilities you're assuming with Saturn, retrograde. But still a good time of working hard, still a good time of learning more about yourself through taking action and re-examining that stuff. All right, so Scorpio and Ophiuchus, have a fantastic week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.